Dun 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 Shows World.
Welcome to Shows World Gamers. Josh here, and it is once again that time of the week. That's right, as this week draws to a close, I wanted to take a moment to look at some of the biggest video game news stories from this last week. We're also going to take a look at some of the biggest gaming announcements that took place over this last week, and of course, this week's biggest video game releases that you're definitely not going to want to miss. But do me a quick favor, if this is your first time on the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join in on the fun. All right, let's kick off this weekend review with a few news stories. Now, as we look forward to the upcoming seasons of some really good video game adaptation shows like Season 2 of Fallout and Season 3 of both Twisted Metal, which did get officially renewed, and The Last of Us, we found out this week another franchise is on its way as Far Cry has been greenlit for an upcoming limited anthology series scheduled to release on Hulu and FX with Noah Hawley at the helm and Rob McElhenney, best known from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, starring. Now, we also received news late last week that Nintendo was actually making an acquisition, as they announced in a statement to investors that they have entered into an agreement with Bandai Namco to acquire the Bandai Namco Singapore developer who had previously teamed up with Nintendo on Splatoon 3 as well as Pokemon Snap. Nintendo will rename the developer Nintendo Studios Singapore, and I'm pretty excited what comes out of this developer, if they're just going to be working on other games with Nintendo or if they're going to be full on making games. I think they're going to be kind of helping out with other games, but hey, Pokemon Snap and Splatoon 3, both really good games, so this is a nice pickup for Nintendo. Next up, let's take a look at some gaming announcements. Now, Bandit Trap received a console and release date announcement, unveiling that the game will release on February 6th for the Nintendo Switch 2, the PlayStation 5, PC, as well as Xbox Series systems. The game is an upcoming 3 versus 1 online multiplayer game where one player acts as a trapper, defending a house with booby traps, while 3 bandits work together to steal loot. The game features physics-driven chaos, destructible environments, and some fun, chaotic gameplay this game just looks like a lot of fun, and I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on this title. Now, a game that was announced a while back, but it kind of went MIA here for a while, has now finally received a new reveal gameplay trailer, showing off an fun on-rail shooter. Wild Blue Skies is an awesome modern take on classic Star Fox with a clean cel-shaded animated kind of style artwork that I really like a lot, and I'm definitely looking forward to getting my hands on this game when it launches on Xbox and PC in 2026. Alright gamers, let's finish up this week in review with a few new video game releases that you're definitely going to want to check out this week. And, hey, we're going to start with the big one. That's right, the time has finally arrived. After over 8.5 years from the first teaser trailer, excited millions of Nintendo fans, closing out the 2017 E3 Nintendo Direct. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond finally released on both the Nintendo Switch 1 and Nintendo Switch 2. Players will once again take on the role as Samus Aran, exploring the mysterious planet Vuros. Utilizing new psychic abilities and a motorcycle called Viola, the game will feature enhanced resolution and frame rate options on the Nintendo Switch 2, along with new control options like using the Joy-Con 2 controller as a mouse for aiming, and I am playing this and absolutely loving the game. The reviews were not as high as I expected, but hey, I'm absolutely loving the game. I highly recommend picking it up. Now, another awesome release this week came earlier in the week with Marvel Cosmic Invasion. It released this week on the Nintendo Switch consoles, PlayStation, PC, Xbox, and it's actually a day one release on Game Pass. That's where I checked it out. The game is a classic arcade-style 2D co-op beat-em-up style game with 15 playable Marvel heroes, a cosmic swap tag team system where you select 2 players and you can actually switch between them at any time, and a retro inspired comic book art style. The game also supports online play, cross-platform play. You can upgrade your characters, and you can drop in and drop out both online and local. The game is fantastic. I highly recommend checking this one out. One of my favorite beat 'em up games I've played in a while, and I'm a fan of beat 'em up games, so definitely check this one out. Now, for you classic role-playing game fans out there, we also got the release of the next Octopath Traveler game from Square Enix. The franchise that kicked off the HD 2D RPG revolution is back with Octopath Traveler 0 on the Nintendo Switch 1 and 2, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series systems. The new game is actually a prequel to the original Octopath Traveler, building on the mobile game Champions of the Continent, and featuring a story of restoration and retribution in the world of Ostera. New features include character creation, town building, and an expanded 8-player party system. Now, we also received the Nintendo Switch 2 version of Assassin's Creed Shadows. It released this week, joining the previous releases on PlayStation 5, PC, and Xbox Series systems. The latest game in the long-running series finally takes us to the long-requested locale of 16th century Japan during the Sengoku period. Featuring 2 playable protagonists, Noe, a shinobi, and Yasuke, a samurai, players can switch between the 2 characters to utilize their complementary skills in a large open world, which includes dynamic weathers and seasons. The game focuses on the conflict between the assassins and Templars, with the protagonist teaming up to dismantle a shadowy organization. Alright gamers, that concludes this week in review for the week ending on December 5th. The week started with Black Friday sales in full force as well. We added a few more titles to that ever-growing backlog of games that we need to play. Then, Metacritic scores for Metroid Prime 4 started showing up, much lower than expected, with the game currently sitting in an 81, much lower than the first 3 games, which were all in the 90s. Now, there's no negative reviews here, but definitely something to think about. Personally, I'm absolutely loving the game, and that's because this week ended with us finally getting our hands on Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and I'm having a blast with it. But let me know anything we may have missed in the comments, and thanks for joining us today, gamers. Do me a favor, if this is your first time on the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, and we hope to see you on the next one. Shoge World, out.